Hail, this is Dark Star. Are we live? Taps microphone. Seems like we are. We'll get started in a bit. So I was just doing my first mission as senior captain. So made senior captain, yay. Was originally flying down from like Japan to Australia, but Microsoft Flight Sim crashed this afternoon. So it dumped me out in the middle of the Pacific. Okay. I don't know why, but my headset just powered off even though it's 100% charged. Weird. Anyway, so I got dumped off in the middle of the Pacific and I had to refly like a significant distance. So we are now coming into somewhere in Australia. I don't even know wherever this place is. Mackay. So I'm going to resume here. Had to take a call, so I was waiting for that to finish. I didn't want it to crash while I was doing that. We are in the Longitude. We have switch the stream here. There we go, maybe. I don't know if that'll be any different on the stream. If anyone joins and that is too much background noise, let me know. We did up it a bit yesterday because we were listening to the thunderstorms. So I had some fueling issues after the crash. So after the crash, when I came back and I was trying to fuel the plane in Neofly, and I would come into the plane and it would say 0 fuel. So I turned on unlimited fuel, and then I ended up trying a bunch of stuff and that didn't work, and then I restarted the flight from scratch, and that fixed the fueling problem, but I forgot to turn unlimited fuel off. So now we're going to be landing pretty heavy. So I'm going to land at a higher speed than normal. I'm trying to keep my passengers somewhat happy here, because another Neofly bug I've had periodically is, well, I think I just missed it, but the passenger happiness will indicate 0%. So it'll flicker between 100% and 0%, 100%, 0%. I'm not sure what I can do about that. I guess we'll see what happens when we land. Okay, we just turned on to what should be a relatively long final here. We should go into approach mode. Let's go go vertical speed down because we're above where we should be right now. It's not actually where we're supposed to intersect. So I think we're gonna have to descend a little bit faster than the glide path so we get back on the glide path because I was busy talking. We should have plenty of time to recover here. Anyway, so I think we got all our lighting taken care of. We are going to deploy the spoiler when we land. Nope, that is not what I wanted to have happen. Yeah, so we're going to use the spoiler when we land, and then we're going to ease in the brakes. We should have sufficient runway to land at this higher speed. Alright, there we are on the glide path. So if we go look at our landing data, weather, it's okay, runway, landing config. Landing data, weight exceeded by about 1,000 and some odd pounds. Our approach is 140, so that's what we're going to come in at. Set up, we will disengage the auto throttle. We will be using spoiler and reverse thrust on landing. And I'm going to try and show that a little bit. Also, it lets me verify that it's working right, so might be a bit of an odd perspective here, but we can hopefully see the throttles and everything deploy correctly. Go manual throttle here. Let it get a little slow though. I guess we'll land a little slower than our anticipated speed.
200.
Seem to be shallower than normal too.
150.
Autopilot.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Transporter from dispatch. Nice landing. Go to the parking and put your parking brake on. I'll be in touch. Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
That's end of reverse thrust. Did not mean to come to a complete stop, but okay. So 56 feet per minute, that's not too bad. hard to steer accurately when you're looking over at the other screen. Is our berth right here? Wow, look at that. Alright, so we do have 100% passenger satisfaction at the moment. So we're gonna shut down.
Okay, the VIPs are leaving the aircraft and are heading straight to the limo.
So 1,000 experience for that. It's not too bad. That was about halfway, I guess. So I think we got the other 1,000 experience first time, but I don't even get experience anymore. I'm capped out. So now it's all about the money.
Transporter, all the passengers have disembarked. Good job. See you soon.
There we go, 942,000. Let's check on our percentages. Let's see. So first of all, do we have anybody? Yeah, several of our, well, I've got some AI, quote unquote AI pilots. I don't know why they call them that. NPC pilots. So let's see, we've got Snoopy flying this one. We got this guy doing little short flights out of here. He's really low level, and I'm wondering if he's going to level up. So I was just having him do some shorter flights around, I don't even know where he is. This looks like a short one. The weight might be a little high, I think. Yeah, it won't let me take it because of that. I haven't figured out how to, what's going on with that particular number. It seems to take into account the pilot sort of, but not exactly, and I don't know. I don't know what it does. Let's do like this one. And check this plane. It's got plenty of gas. Off he goes. I think he's getting a little tired though, so that probably should be the last job we give him. Or else he's gonna crash our plane. Where'd he go? 73%. He's okay, I guess. So Red Bull and Snoopy are, I think, are in a plane together. I think they're in this one. Nope, that's Hammer and Snoopy. Okay, so if we look at Snoopy's okay, Hammer's okay. So they should be good to do another job. Let's see. They're at ULMK. Let's see. Doing a little math here to see which job I think we can do. I don't know. The problem is these high distance, high weight jobs don't leave any room for the fuel, so those don't tend to be doable. That's a short one. This is a low weight, high distance. See what I have for that one. So that PC24, I think, needs about 2.62 pounds, 2.62 times the distance, 1966. So that's about 5,150 pounds of fuel. So if we put in 5,150, let's put in a little bit extra. Although they're pretty exact because they're not actually flying a plane, it just does some calculation. As best I can tell, it's based on the range and the max fuel. So at max fuel, you can go exactly max range. So that's where I get my number from. I just divide those two. And so far, it has worked. So now it says we can take 1,063 pounds. So that's way less than that. And will they fly it? Yes. Okay, and this one's still flying. I've got a Vision Jet rental. I own this helicopter. I was given this when I bought the pilot and airport module for Neofly. That's just a little Cessna 172, and then the PC24 is a rental, and the Longitude is a rental. And I'm thinking about getting something bigger. Like I could trade in like this for a couple million, plus I am eligible now for 16 million in loans right off the bat here. So I could get into a pretty big plane if I wanted to. Problem is I don't really want to fly a bigger plane. So what do we got on the Longitude right now? If I keep using unlimited fuel, I could so I guess one thing we could do. So right now we have 9147. 9147, and then I think that's divided by 3.734. So in theory, we could do a mission in that range with this amount of fuel and that amount of payload. So if we go by distance, we need to find the first one under 2450. So that'd be about that one. But if I go unlimited fuel, I could do this one, but that's a very long flight too. That would basically be kick off a flight tonight and then don't do anything else. And if anybody was on, I would be willing to take suggestions, but I guess right now we're solo. We could also jump in a different plane and do some little short missions. Or we could try to do our certification. I have not yet done my big jet certification. Not very good at the big planes though. It's unfortunate that's the only one in the area. I think they need to widen the area on those. Okay, we got all of our NPC pilots flying. We need to pick something here. We could potentially just do little short jobs. Bring a whole ton of flowers. Guess we should filter by weight. This one's low weight. It's just so low payout. I don't care about experience anymore. Although really hours flying seems to be more experience than this. Like I leveled up on just a long free flight. Wasn't even on a job. I was just trying to get to a different area. So I flew over to Japan. And now I'm down in Australia, so I guess that's a different area. Where is this one? Ooh, I like the idea of going up to the islands. Maybe we should do this one. We could sim rate too. Let's do that. Let's do some missions just for the destination. So runway length 6,520, that is fine. That is in our weight range and well within our distance range. So let's take it.
Transporter from dispatch. It is passenger mission waiting for you. The boarding will start as soon as you are at the boarding parking.
I think it should start then.
Transporter, boarding has started.
Alright. Let's put this up on the side. And I now have full sim brief integration here, so in theory, we can do our whole flight plan in the EFB. Okay, so we're going to deport.
Transporter, boarding is complete. You can start your flight.
YBMK. Tab doesn't work. And we're going to go to WAUU. Now in the online one, as soon as I click out of that, it kind of auto plans stuff. So this was 2130 pounds of cargo, I guess. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passengers. This would be my first time doing it in here and not in the somewhere. I know you can enter a number of passengers. Ah, there's passengers, so say 5. Let's go, I don't know what this will end up being. Let's see. If it's somewhere around 180 per passenger, so 900, and then what was it? 2130 minus that, so 1230 in freight, I guess. I don't know if we should put it in freight or payload. How do I get it to calculate the... preview? Oh, we have to pick an aircraft type. Why isn't it? Longitude. Okay. That makes sense. We are November 700 Sierra Bravo. I think you can change that here too if you want. So we have a route. Let's just go ahead and generate. And then it automatically switched to view, and we can say import route. And then it crashes the game. Cool. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. That's several crashes today so far. Now, did my Neofly restart? Yes, looks like it did. Riveting television. I wonder if SU2 will fix the issue where they can't even play their little movie. Like, when I first got the game, this worked just smoothly. I was kind of impressed. But that ended pretty quickly. I don't know if any of you watch the YouTube channel. What's it called? Any of these zero people that will watch this. I think it's Missionary Bush Pilot or something like that. Yeah, that's it. Missionary Bush Pilot. I think he flies a Kodiak around Papua New Guinea, which is very near where we're going to be flying up to. And when we do that, I might switch over and just do some bush piloting around Papua New Guinea. I know other simmers have done this where they kind of recreate his flights. That might be kind of fun to do. It's up in the mountainous regions on very inclined dirt airstrips with lots of weather. So kind of challenging. And if you watch his channel, he talks a lot about his weather planning and like all that stuff. Pretty interesting. And he's getting reports from other pilots and all right, let's see. And then WAUU.
Hello, pilot. Let's see what's on the books for you today.
Let's see indeed.
Hello, pilot. Your passengers are waiting for you. Let me know when we can send them. Captain, we have opened the gates for boarding. The passengers are on their way.
Bing. Yeah, maybe I should do a little planning, get some of his flights, and try and do some on the stream. Be a lot more interesting than these Longitude flights, that's for sure.
Looks like everyone is on board, pilot. Let's get out of here.
Everything
McKay Tower Dark Star Delta Sierra Tango 5711 ready at runway 32 north departure. Dark Star Delta Sierra Tango 5711 QNH 10.
Okay, now I get to do all that again, I guess. I'm smarter now. Hopefully it won't take as long. I wonder, actually, do we have it in here? Ah, look at that, it's already there. SimBrief saved it. So, should we try this again? I think it's already there, actually. I think we don't even have to load it again. Cool. Okay, so we were going to go to... that should have come in as 350. I don't really care if it's BFR or IFR, although technically it's... can't fly at flight level 350 EFR. Ah, an RNAV approach. We will do that. Straight out, file with ATC, and we will resend this to avionics. Now we just need to get our altitude. This would be your initial climb altitude. But we're going straight up. You don't need no stinking departure procedures. And then we click this little button for that. And then I have another button. This should be that button. And that puts the autopilot in takeoff mode. Okay, we've got our altitude dialed in. We're going to set our heading bug because we're going to do a straight out departure. We can go and go heading mode even, and that will turn this takeoff off and put it in heading mode. So now when we click on the autopilot, it'll keep us going straight ahead. We'll click on flight level change as soon as we get up. Parking brakes off. Let's set up our little flight computer here. I'm just going to do the minimums. Yep. Weather. We don't have any weather data, come on. Okay, it looks like we rotate at 118. Alright. So let's check our engines and brakes. All looks good. Go full takeoff power. Now if you pull back on the throttle right now, you'll get a red error up here. You can kind of turn it off and re-enable it. Alright, here we go. We're in date. Trying not to stall the
Have a great
plane.
flight. It's a beautiful time to fly.
Alright, flaps coming up. Autopilot coming on. We will go flight level change. We will go nav mode because we're already on the bank angle to keep our bank angle lower, keep our passengers happy. Yeah, if you get a chance, go see Missionary Bush Pilot YouTube channel. I don't know if he has any religious affiliation, but he's pretty interesting as a pilot. not sure if he's a real missionary or not. This thing climbs like crazy. And just in case anyone ever watches this and cares, you can tweak your speed schedule here. So we're on FMS, we're letting the computer control our speeds. And you can set those up in your VNav profiles. So we've got our climb. So you can have altitude speed limits. So I have it set to stay below 240 knots, below 11,000 feet. Gives me a little bit of a buffer. You couldn't. I think the default is 10,000 feet. And I think it's 250 at 10,000 feet, which of course doesn't work well in the game, although in real life that's probably more realistic. And then your climb, so I have it set to max out at 270k or Mach 0.76. Before we got above 10,000, it was holding this 240 knots limit. Now it's gone up to 270, which will be Mach 0.6 something maybe? Oh, 5 something. Can't count. And then it'll creep up higher as we gain altitude. Just confirm we got our flaps and gear up. I flew for an hour earlier with my flaps down. I'm going, why won't it pick up speed? Why is it going so slow? Yeah. Alright, let's sim rate. For sim rate, I always like to put my clock up here so I can see what's happening. There's 1 notch. 2 notches. And 3. There we go, standard barometer. I mean, it already was, because I'm on clear weather. We could go, well, no, it's probably really late. We could try it. We could try going real time, real weather. Might be more interesting. Okay, before we get up to our 35 and start leveling out, I'm going to ease back on the sim rate. That should be back to normal speed. Seems a little slow. That's normal rate. And there's 350. Now it's going to go to our cruise speed. I have it pilot defined as 310 max or Mach 0.83. That's going to put us right below our max, which is 0.84. Because I don't want to get into the regime where the game might decide you've exploded your plane, start over. And actually that seems a little fast. Let's go. I should have even changed that one, I think. Let's go 820. And then on your flight plan, as you're getting ready, you can right-click this, use this as a touchpad to drag the cursor up on the little screen up to your destination, and then start zooming in. We can see what our flight plan should look like here. I don't even know what this means. Can we tell on here what it's supposed to be doing? Looks like we do a little circle into the final, which I really don't like those, but it should be an RNAV. Okay. So right click to turn that off. And what we well, let's just check this procedure here. RNAV 35. That's our only option for a direct route. I don't know what our minimum should be. Via BIC, come in here, loop around this way and go that way. I don't really want to do that, I don't think. We could do it. Is there no transition? We could do that. Is of course going to put us off course now because it's a relatively short flight, so but it auto adjusted. Okay, but what I was going to say is you can go into this latter part of your flight plan and you can put in speed restrictions here. So like let's say we want our final approach speed, we would generally put in here. So we might put in like 135 as our final approach speed. You can always change it later, obviously. And then this might be, I usually do increments of 20. So this would be 155. And then working backwards, 175 here. And of course, other restrictions may come into play that might make it slow down more than that. Like these are probably going to fall into our descent limits of once we get close to the airport. This will be our max. So that should be 200 knots. So. And then there's other limits that come into play when you have your flaps down and stuff. So if you put your flaps down earlier, it might slow your speed down more even than those speed restrictions. But you can back those off if you wanted to. I can't remember which one we did now. BIC 1B. Oh, don't crash on me. One thing Plan with ATC does, which you may already know, but that's what drives these things to show up where they are. Plus it's doing its own. We think this is what your altitudes would be if you're like a Cessna 172 or something. I don't know what they're based on, but it's certainly not a longitude because it's still way down there and we're already up at our cruise altitude. So my understanding, and I'm no expert on this, but I think this side is Papua New Guinea, and I do not know what the other side is. Maybe a geopolitical science expert can tune in and tell us. We've had 3 views, so that's not going to happen. Alright, so we got our big entry here. I can see why they don't bring you straight in this way over the mountains. I wonder what our altitude will be here. One thing you can do is, if you zoom in here enough, lake. So it looks like lake is a waypoint. And that would be right on our way. So one thing we could do, we could add en route waypoint here. L-A-K-E, maybe? One thing I do sometimes to be careful is I set my heading bug and then I go into heading mode so that if I change my nav it doesn't like do something weird, like start turning me around. I think this would be Indonesia. So what does that look like on our nav here? Yeah, there we go. So now we got lake as a waypoint. Go back into nav mode. Just going to turn this a little bit. Not much. And now, on here, we can see our altitude at lake is going to be flight level 350. Alright, so we have 2 hours and 50 minutes time scale forward here. Plane's still turning a little bit, so I don't want to go too fast yet. Let's get en route to lake here. But yeah, if you can find a waypoint or create a waypoint, which is difficult in some situations, but you can use that to find out what your altitude is expected to be, and then if need be, you could put in altitude restrictions. And there was a post on, here it is, on the forums that was asking about the altitude keys for the maps. So I will, I'll post that in the chat here. So I did a little work to gather some information about the different map colors. So these transitions here are in like the 7,000, 6,000s, 5,000s, down to about 2,000 when it starts turning actually yellow. So the yellows are in the 2,000s to about, well, really just around the 2000s, and then it starts going green below that. Your 1900s, 1800s are greens. But like, you know, these higher greens. These ones here. But I think these colors So I got like almost 11,000s. No, well, actually 11s in the 11,000s down to 7,000s, I guess. I think these are a little lower. I think these are some of the lower ones, not the super red ones. Himalaya should be up here somewhere, right? There's India. I didn't do these white ones, so my guess is these are those really, really high mountains. But I would think like these reds and reddish oranges. I think these are really steep, so I think you have to zoom in to see the other shades I'm talking about. Probably like these ones are around 11. Well, it seemed a little redder than that. I don't know. But really hard to have a color key on these. I did my best. Alright, things are stable. Let's sim rate up one more. See if they hold. The longitude seems to be pretty good at sim rate acceleration. But at the third tier and fourth tier, it can definitely pick up issues. It'll start porpoising and swaying, and it'll get really bad at the fourth tier if you don't watch it. Neat little, tiny little islands, I guess. Reefs, maybe? I don't know. There's a little tiny island. When are we gonna get paratrooping? I'm guessing these are the reefs. They don't seem to be above water. Highways in the sky are pretty close to where we are this time. Some more little islands. That'd be fun to visit these. Need to get I don't know, maybe a helicopter. We just violated some airspace. This plane is shaped weird. This bend in here. And the lighting effects on it make it look even weirder. It's kind of odd that it gets so narrow now. Abruptly. So we're still over Australia here. Yeah. So I wonder if we had an engine outage where we would end up landing. Let's see, what if we go nearest airport? Sorry, nearest airport. pretty short runways. We could do this one, no problem. We could probably do this one even, or that one. Wonder what it says we need to land. Perf. Land. So it says we need 3,000 feet to land, but I don't think that's accurate. That's a normal landing, not a I have to get down on a 3,000 foot runway landing. Looks like our approach speed right now would be 132, which is pretty close to what we entered. But this doesn't seem to predict your future fuel. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It looks like our fuel is going to be a little low too. So I'm not sure what's up with that. We can go into a little more fuel economical mode. We can cruise at 800. So we'll slow down a little bit. Adds a little bit of time, but not much. I mean, we're sim rating up anyway, so. And then as you scroll in your flight plan here, it'll change up here as well, so we can see what we're expected to end at. So this says we should have 179 pounds of fuel left at the missed approach. And if we try to do a missed approach, we will die. So we'll keep an eye on that. Our fuel burn is actually high right now. So let's see what we had here. So we're like, okay, so right now it's minus 62 pounds, right? Let's see if we climb up to 40,000. That'll get us up to 40,000 real fast. Now we gotta let it all settle out again. Okay, that's 2x sim rate, or I don't know what I call 2x. It can buy 2 seconds at a time. But I think it's actually 4x. I'm not sure. Alright, so now our fuel remaining has gone up to 848 pounds, so we just needed to do that step climb. I keep meaning to tell SimBrief to plan step climbs. I don't know if it'll do it for the Longitude, but it's clearly beneficial to spend the fuel to get up to a higher altitude if you're flying long enough. And I guess an hour and a half is long enough because that really upped our fuel remaining. I think it's even more economical to go up higher, but above a certain point you start going slower and slower, so it takes longer and longer to get there. Oh, I could do this all night. I do like the integrated SimBrief app. It seems to work really well. That was a fun thing to do. I wonder what that's going to do. I think it's just going to open it in my browser. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I think based on these numbers, this looks pretty close now, right? Pretty good planning on that. So the PDF is really just a PDF of this data. So that's not really very useful, I think. Oh, wait. To me. It isn't just this data, it's this data plus charts. There are the charts. Overall route. Weather. Winds. Nice. At I don't know what these are. Vertical profile. Oh, nice. That's really cool. So winds by altitude, your vertical profile, different waypoints along it. Here's where your top of descent is planned to be. And altitudes of the terrain in between. That's really handy. Interactive map. Runway analysis. Interesting. Okay. Okay, cool. And this should be like brought to the foreground. Maybe even have its own tab. This performance page is for like takeoff and landing, so you can do your takeoff and landing calculations here as well. So like if we go to say landing performance, we are longitude. Oh, you can populate from last flight, which would be this one. Hope it doesn't crash the game again. 2035 is the one we're looking at. 6,562 feet. Reversers, no? What? Why not? If you had winds, so we should be stopping in like half the distance here. So we'll go easy on the landing. And these are its calculated approach and rough speeds. This would take into account your fuel at landing. Fleet are the planes I have, so I've only loaded these 3. Vision Jet. I don't even know what that one is. And then this one. Is this plane? Well, service ceiling of 45,000. Oh, CJ4. Okay, that makes sense. I think they didn't have the PC-24. I don't know its magic code. Alright, we're now an hour from top of descent. We're over, I think, probably some part of Papua New Guinea right now. We're off that way. Max speed. So it's still saying we should have 1,000 pounds of fuel. Well, no, over 1,000, right? Or right at 1,000. I guess it just dropped below that. That's because it's bouncing. But this is only if we do missed approach. So we should be right at 1,000 pounds. I guess we will see what the fuel quantity is when we land. That lake waypoint is in here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Alright, 40 minutes. Here comes that mountain range. I bet the flat earthers are angry with this game. I think that's lake right there that we're passing over. That'd be kind of a cool place to come to. I don't know if that's big enough to land on, but might be. I guess our next big waypoint is Bic. Weird effect on here. Right there. Right about the time these go all wonky too. And then one more in and they smooth out. Level of detail changes. Alright, let's see. 15 minutes. Looks like our up of descent is just a little bit past Bic. So right as we hit the edge of the island there. And then zoom, coast all the way down here. Guessing the top of descent position is relatively easy to find. Because you pick, I don't know if they pick the first one or the last one, but you pick the waypoint with an altitude restriction. At least of a certain kind of altitude restriction, like maybe this one. Maybe it's any, I don't know. And then you can do whatever degrees off from that you're gonna do. And these have a 3.22 degree. Let's This is big. Let's just see what happens if we fire up beyond ATC. I guess that's kind of fun. Oh, it's going to do an update. Oh, maybe it'll be better. Who knows? I wonder if sim pilots are good at IFR because we just stare at these all day. Although I gotta say, like if I'm doing like full instruments, I kind of want old style instruments. All right, let's get our clock up here. We want to get down to normal time. Looks good. Alright, update is done. It might yell at me for being off course, but we're at big, so maybe not. Right,
Beyond ATC connected.
Let's get on the right radio here. We are in cruise. Or now?
Biac radar, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Good day. Flight level 400.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. Reset transponder. Squawk 3362.
Squawk 3362. November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. Biac radar. Radar contact. November 700 Sierra Bravo. Biac radar. Expect radar vectors. RNAV runway 17.
Expect radar vectors, RNAV runway 17, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Biac radar, ready for descent, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. Rendani landing runway 17.
Rendani landing runway 17, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. Descent to 6,000 feet. QNH1009er.
Descending to 6,000 feet, QNH 1009er, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Alright, so we are cleared down to 6,000 feet. We are 26 seconds from the start of our normal descent. So I'm just going to let that come down and pick up the descent. watch our speed here a little bit. Gonna speed brake a little bit to compensate for more autopilot. It just feels like it should probably lower the throttle a little bit before it starts a descent. Like, keep that speed more constant. Kind of fun to talk to somebody who does autopilot software for a living. I am a software developer by profession, so, but I have not done autopilot code. I more do data integrations, network protocols, I don't know, stuff like that. I worked on HTTP back in the day. I worked on HTML some back in the day. Alright, we are on the descent vertical path. Our speed is okay. It's about where it should be. The numbers are going up, but our actual, well, I don't know if I should say actual speed, but like, it's staying here. It's just because we're descending that the numbers are going up. Yeah, our true airspeed is remaining relatively constant for now. Maybe going up a wee bit. Alright, we just switched into Mach 0.8. Longitude does pretty good at descending. Don't really need to use the speed brake or flaps too much. Let's just double check our speeds in here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and stick with these. Okay, 30,000 feet. Got a long ways to go. This was an RNAV approach, so we won't need the localizer. Oh, I didn't realize I could make the beyond ATC window more narrow. That's good. I'm forgetting my poor passengers here. Oh, I forgot to do the weight. Shoot. So I'm not gonna get that bonus. So there's a thing, I have this plugin, Skyforce Sim. You have to run a little server thing, and then this, I think it glues between Neofly and this. But you can, in theory, go into here and have it tell you what you're supposed to be doing. It's so slow, I always forget about it. Not even working right now. I can't switch to this tab, which is the one I need. But I wish it would do like food service and stuff like that as well. And I wish it was integrated into EFB instead of being a separate app. Show up right here. Alright, let's go look at our, if we can. So we could do our minimums here. Let's do 610. And now that we're getting close, we can go ahead and do our final landing data. We knew what the weather was, we can do that, we can do this. This is telling us closer to what SimBrief was. We've still got 1,400 pounds of fuel, so we're doing good there. Now we got our speeds up here. The approach we're doing right there. So we're looking for 2,500. So I'm hoping we will get, descend to lower altitudes here for too long. And I forgot to do the one thing I was actually looking for. Transition altitude is 11,000.
November 700 Sierra Bravo QNH1009er, expect radar vectors for RNAV runway 17.
Expect radar vectors for RNAV runway 17 QNH1009er, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Not, however, get clearance to descend further yet. Okay, so we're at 240 knots, so we're good to descend below 10,000 feet. And before we do, we want to get our lights on. Technically, I'm slowing down a little early here, but
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn right, heading 305 vectors for the approach.
alright, well we're getting something here. Turn right, heading 305, vectors for the approach, November 700 Sierra Bravo. So we're going to turn right to 305. That's a weird heading right now. All right, we got our landing lights on. We're below 240. Our transition altitude is 11,000. I'm going to go ahead and turn off standard barometer.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, descend to 5,000 feet.
Descend to 5,000 feet, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Hey, we got someone on the stream. How you doing?
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn right, heading 010.
Turn right, heading 010, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Just gonna trust them. Part of what happened was they changed our runway, I do believe. We were on 35, now we're on 17. No, let's go back to vectors.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 305.
Turn left heading 305, November 700 Sierra Bravo. This off for now. I'm not doing well with my passengers. They're very unhappy with the service right now. Oh, now they're getting happier. So we're coming in this side for an approach, and now they flipped us around to this side, so. Keeping it interesting. So I'd also threatened to go like live time and weather. Wonder what the weather is right now. Oh yeah, that's fun. There's some clouds. We might want to get some anti-ice on just in case. I don't know what the temperature is. Looks like we're well above sea, so we're okay. We don't need that on. I'm guessing they're going to fly us out around here somewhere and then vector us in to get onto the final on that side. Hopefully they know what they're doing. We were cleared to descend to 5,000, right? So we're getting close. Still need to get flaps and gear down. We've still got almost 1,200 pounds of fuel.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, descend to 4,000 feet.
Descend to 4,000 feet, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 290.
Turn left, heading 290.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 290, descend to 3,000 feet.
Turn left, heading 290, descend to 3,000 feet, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 260.
Turn left, heading 260, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 260, descend to 2,800 feet.
Turn left, heading 260, descend to 2,800 feet, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
Negative, descend to 2,800 feet.
Descend to 2,800 feet, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Thought that's what I said.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, 4 miles from UU601, turn left, heading 145, maintain 2,800 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared RNAV runway 17.
Turn left, heading 145, maintain 2,800 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared RNAV runway 17, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Is a VRME DM approach, but is there another one I can do? That one. Cleared us to 601.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, contact Randani Tower 122.2.
No, now we want to go there. Rendani Tower on 122.2, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
Negative. Tower on 122.2.
Contact Tower 122.2, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Have a good day.
That's my co-pilot. Rendani Tower, November 700 Sierra Bravo at 5,100 feet for RNAV runway 17.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, Rendani Tower. Wind 115 at 12, runway 17 cleared to land.
Cleared to land, runway 17, November 700 Sierra Bravo. We got a problem here, we are way too high.
November 700 Sierra Bravo on the go.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, go around. Fly runway center line, maintain 2,800 feet.
Fly runway heading, maintain 2,800 feet, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, contact Bayak radar 128.5.
Bayak radar on 128.5, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
Negative, Bayak radar on 128.5.
Bayak radar on 1.2.5? That doesn't sound right. What?
Negative, Bayak radar on 128.5.
Bayak radar on 128.5.
Negative, Bayak radar on 128.5.
That's not me, that's... I'll do the co-pilot thing.
Contact Bayak radar 128.5, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
That's me. Let's hold 210 here in the pattern. Bayak radar, November 700 Sierra Bravo at 2,800 feet, doing a go around.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 095.
I was about to say, you better vector us soon. I was going to turn on my own. What did he say? Turn left heading 095, November 700 Sierra Bravo. I have a hard time reading those little numbers.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, welcome back. Continue.
Welcome back, nice. What happened to my heading? It was supposed to be 095.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, welcome back. Continue.
What does it want me to say?
Continue, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
So that was totally pilot overload earlier. We were their original...
November 700 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 000. Expect further clearance in about 24 miles.
Turn left heading 000, expect further clearance in 24 miles. November 700 Sierra Bravo. Yeah, so I was descending onto runway 35 and was like, you know, right on vertical path guidance and everything. And then they vectored us over to a different runway, but they didn't really give us time to complete the descent. I probably should have noticed that sooner and started working on a more expedited descent. But never flown into this airport, never flown these patterns. Just kind of getting the hang of all this anyway. And I'm trying to juggle the Neofly mission and get people fed and drink so that they'll stay happier. Playing with Beyond ATC here to do the vectoring for us. So I think we're going to need new landing data. So runway now is 17. Landing config hasn't changed. New speed bugs. Still should be okay on fuel unless we have to do like 2 more go-arounds. We should be good on this one though because we're already at our platform altitude. We'll be able to intercept the glide path this time. And I was on the wrong approach. I didn't see 17 because I would have had to scroll up. Got it all sorted out now. So, and I'm guessing they're going to vector us out roughly here somewhere, and then we'll pick up the final coming back, maybe somewhere here. I don't know exactly. Like they might push us out over here again and have us coming that way. Hope not. We should be able to just go to about like, well, I would think they would have us turn left here pretty soon and take us out to about here and then intersect final there. Who knows? So... need to watch our speed coming in as well. I wonder if any of these groups, like you know, the FAA or airlines or whatever, have looked at like integrating air traffic control and all of these onboard computers, because there's no reason that they couldn't, even if it was like a speculative waypoint, like they could send flight plan data to our computer digitally, authenticate it, and have it show up on here. Even if the pilot had to trust it, right? You could have some kind of like definite indicator of exactly where they want you to go on the map, rather than reading out random vectors all the time. Okay, there's our fuel warning. then like declare that we're running low on fuel at the end of the dang airport. Nope. BIAC radar, request expedited approach, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Take a stab.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. Roger, say approach.
It's going down the wrong path.
Request RNV runway 17, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. You're already assigned RNAV runway 17. Unable.
Yeah. Doesn't.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. Turn left, heading 285.
Turn left heading 285, November 700 Sierra Bravo. In finally. I'm hoping we can go to 601 here. That would be my preference. Alright, first notch of flaps are down.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. 9 miles from UU601. Turn left, heading 205. Maintain 2,800 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared RNAV runway 17.
Oh, that's a lot. Turn left heading 205. Maintain 2,800 feet until established on the final. Cleared RNAV runway 17, November 700 Sierra Bravo. So what we're actually going to do at this point is just go direct to 601. And we got first notch of flaps down already. Ready to get second notch and gear down. Now here I can put in my final approach speed 1:21. Off. And now they're just waiting for us to report established on our final. Coming down right here. So VNAV is on.
November 700 Sierra Bravo. Contact Randani Tower 122.2. Have a good day.
Randani Tower 122.2, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Been having trouble.
Negative. Tower on 122.2.
That is absolutely what I said.
Over to Tower 122.2, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
Okay, second notch flaps here. Approach mode armed, glide path armed. Glide path diamond is right here. Runway's in sight. There we go, glide path locked. Alright, now we need to announce frequency.
Renani Tower, November 700 Sierra Bravo, RNAV runway 17.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, Rendani Tower, wind 115 at 12, runway 17 clear to land.
Okay, we should be able to go to FMS now. It should slow us down to 120, whatever. Knowledge landing clearance.
Runway 17 cleared to land, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
Are they gonna have us smack into the ground here? Really want to be on this glide path, don't you? Alright, I've got 640 pounds of fuel. We are on the glide path. We are slowing down to our final approach speed. Everything's looking good.
Terrain, 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 terrain.
Not my glide path,
terrain,
man.
Terrain.
Are we sure we're not going to hit this thing? Yeah, we'll be okay. Picking the tops off the trees. Alright, we got a little bit of a crosswind, not too bad. 9 knots looks like.
Minimums.
What's our
Auto
minimums?
throttle 400.
Autopilot.
300. 200.
Adding a little power because we're getting a little low.
150. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Nice landing, pilot.
A little rocky there though.
Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your...
November 700 Sierra Bravo, exit next available taxiway.
Taxiway? Can't tell. Not really very well marked as a taxiway. Huh. Alright, I guess
November 700 Sierra Bravo, exit next available taxiway.
I think I did. Exit next available taxiway, November 700 Sierra Bravo. Requesting taxi to assigned ramp, November 700 Sierra Bravo.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, ramp 6, taxi at pilot's discretion.
Alright, I think what we want to do now is start the APU. I think we're actually supposed to start the APU before.
November 700 Sierra Bravo, Wendani Tower.
Ramp 6, taxi at pilot's discretion, November 700 Sierra Bravo. I would clearly fail as a pilot. We're waiting for our RPMs on the APU to come up here. And then we will... on. And then we can shut down the engines.
Transporter. Disembarking of passengers can begin.
We want to see 0 amps on the batteries. Or positive so that they're charging. Didn't get my flaps up when I landed either.
Okay, pilot. That's all the passengers off the plane. Thank you. Over and out.
Really? The passengers got off when the seatbelt signs were still on? Terrible.
Let's get out of here.
Well, that was fun. But it is coming up on 1 a.m. here, so I think I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for joining. Bye, Beyond ATC. Hey, we got up to 4 million in the bank. Plus we have our planes. Well, I only own these 2. These are rentals. Wonder how our little pilot is doing on... Oh, he's getting rested. Okay, let's send him out on another mission. Try to keep them on not too long of missions. Add a little gas in his plane. And then tell him to fly. Now our Vision Jet here, let's see how that crew is doing. Red Bull is the pilot. Red Bull is getting tired, so I'm going to let them rest for the evening. They're still flying. That's about all I can do with those. So I did get the pilot extension into Neofly, so we've got NPC pilots, a few. And these bigger planes require a pilot and a co-pilot, so you have to have 2 people in the plane. So like this one has pilot and co-pilot. This one has pilot and optionally a flight attendant, doesn't need a co-pilot. And then of course this plane requires a co-pilot, and you kind of got to do a flight attendant if you want to score well with your passengers. I don't know what it does, to be honest, but see, that last mission says we got made 172,000, which isn't a big payout. I mean, the mission I did before this was like 900,000. Cost renting the aircraft, fuel. I don't know what we get for doing well with the passengers. Passenger satisfaction reputation, I guess. We get a little bump on that. You happen to play Neofly and you know. Mind a pointer there. So what I was going to do next is we're down near Papua New Guinea, and I was going to pop over here New Guinea and see if we can fly some interesting smaller flights up in here, maybe in a Kodiak. I was going to try to model it on, there's a YouTube guy, missionary, bush pilot, flies around Papua New Guinea in a Kodiak. I was thinking about copying some of his routes to kind of get started. I'll have to go do a little research because I don't pay that much attention. Yeah, so I think that might be next. We might. I'll see if I can find a mission for this plane to get it over into that area initially. I don't know what would be available. How I would find such a thing. I guess if we can. There's a map here. So if I know if we click on these, it'll show me where it's going. So I might have to do each mission and try to find one that goes the right direction. Let's start with short ones, I think. Maybe a little longer than that. Yeah, somewhere in this range. That's over in that vicinity, right? What is the, okay, 8,000 foot runway. I can do that. Oh, hey, how's it going? Did you catch any of the stream or just pop on? I did this flight here. Well, first I was up in Japan and I was flying down to here, and flight sim crashed in the middle of it, so it stuck me on some island out here in the middle of the Pacific somewhere. So I picked up from there, finished this flight to here, and I flew up to here, and now I'm going to try to find my way over to Papua New Guinea. And then I think I'm going to do some like maybe Kodiak or some of the Cessna ones. Oh, it's cool, man. It's just same old, same old. But I'm going to switch it up here once we can find our way over to Papua New Guinea. So I was just finding a flight that went down to here. So WAAK might be one. It might be the only one that gets us in that general area so far. Yeah, and I can land on this runway. No problem, 8,000 feet. Doesn't pay very much, but it'll get us there. So I was trying to remember what my fuel requirements would be for this. I should probably plan it in SimBrief, but I think I'm just going to wing it. No, I'll do it in SimBrief. It does a better job than I ever do. Yeah. Where'd you say you were flying? Like what? You know, what area?
Transporter from dispatch. The passengers for the concert are waiting for you at the boarding parking. Pilot from dispatch. Boarding passenger. Please stand by.
So I bought the extension, so I have NPC pilots now. So I've been sending them on little missions. I'm still flying a fun plane though. Okay, let's, and earlier in the stream I was showing I got SimBrief integrated here into...
Transporter from dispatch. All passengers on board. You can ask for the clearance to take off.
Oh, one thing I was asking is, what region of the world are you flying around in? Oh, got that backwards. W-A-U-U. W-A-K-K. And then, see the plane, we need the plane, the longitude. Good with that. So then we do generate. Florida Keys, nice area. Yeah. I don't know if you caught when I was saying I'm gonna try to do Papua New Guinea. All right, this crashed one time I tried it. Let's see if it works this time. Import route. Hey, it didn't crash. Or did it? Hang on. Oh, come on. That's just rude. I gotta kill this now. Because it messes up. I just went to the SimBrief website and downloaded the thing. Let me find it. SimBrief. So you have to sign up for SimBrief, but that's free. You can sign up for free. I did not pay. Let's see, software downloads. So I went to SimBrief, dashboard, software downloads, and then there's dispatch for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So I did this one. Yeah, just watch out for the crashes. It works once. And then I think if you try to do another flight, then it seems to crash Flight Sim. So flight, and then let me bring up Neofly. I don't know if it's a Flight Sim bug or a Neofly bug, or, you know, the integration. Somebody's crashing. Well, I mean, clearly flight sim is the one crashing, but could be that the app is doing something it shouldn't. All right, we'll take that one. And then WAKK. And let's start the flight.
Hello, Captain. Nice to see you again.
I did the end of the last flight with
Hello, pilot. Your passengers are waiting
ATC.
for you. Let me know when we can send them.
And I had to do a go around because I screwed up my descent. So that was kind of
Transporter, boarding has started.
Yeah, I don't like Skyforce Sim much. It's really slow.
Tower Dark Star Delta Sierra Tango 5711 ready for north departure at runway tree 5.
Alright, we got people loaded. Now we need to load in our weight. And we might need to add more fuel. That's what I was trying
Transporter
to figure
from
out.
dispatch. All passengers on board. You can ask for the clearance to take off.
So we need
Everything looks good
1556.
from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
Now I need 308. So that would be 154 in each here. 154. Let's try that again. Yeah. I think it might be bad. My biggest problem with it is it's so slow. And you have to run that extra server on the other side. I don't know. Alright, we have our weight loaded in here. Now we need to try and get our sim brief plan. View our... There we go, import route. Hope it doesn't crash. And now we need to add our fuel. Oh, and I have to shut down the engines for that. Shoot. I think... Let's see, let's get the APU started. And then when the APU starts, I think I can shut my engines off. Okay, so now I should be able to fuel in SimBrief. And we need at least 4,000 pounds of fuel. I'm gonna go a little extra, I think. Alright, did it show up? Yes, it showed up. Now we can do our weight. We've only got 3 passengers. Fuel onboard sync. Flight plan. Runway. Oh. Okay, so we'll rotate at 109. That's all the fancier I get. Yeah, it can be hard. Like, you can't take every possible mission for sure. Some just require other planes or something. Okay, so we got that loaded. So now, in theory, we can start our engines again. So start. Put it on run and then click start. Should get it started. Do not see any signs of life. That one's on run. Start. I just hit Control E. I don't know what it wants. Maybe you have to hold it down. Okay, I'm gonna get the parking brake off. Okay, Neofly is happy with the flight. Passengers are on board. I'll start a safety whatever, I don't know.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
We are already on the runway. We're waiting for this engine to come up. APU went off. Okay, I think we're ready to go, right? We just need a cruise altitude. Get started, runway heading. And then we're gonna enable auto throttle. Better redo that one. Fasten your seatbelts. Make a quick trip to the other side of the island here. And then I really have to go to bed.
Pilot, have a nice flight.
Stall! I did not stall. Why does it call that a stall?
Dark Star Delta Sierra Tango 5711 continue for north departure. Dark Star Delta Sierra Tango 5711 leaving my airspace, frequency change approved.
Tower Dark Star Delta Sierra Tango 5711 frequency change.
I wonder how long this flight actually is. The Cessna Titan 404. No, I have not. What do you think of it? There's a lot of aircraft I have not tried yet. Probably should. miles, so that's less than an hour, and if we time scale it won't make any time at all. I'm not going up to 45,000 now. I'll try it out. What's its takeoff landing kind of distance? Is it under 3,000 feet or longer? Or like, 2,000, 3,000? Why it zooms in like that. Let's go back to where we were. Since this is an express flight, I'm going to bypass all of these extra waypoints. Go ahead and do the procedure. RNAV 16, I guess. So that should take us straight over to our landing. Let's go take a look at it. Keep wanting to mouse up here. Okay, it looks like a pretty straight shot in, I hope. I was thinking, I mean, I'm going to try to do these flights around Papua New Guinea next time I stream, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, but I'll give it a shot. There's got to be some runways around that can do that. I'll give it a little test run first. I wonder how much they are to rent in Neofly. Said it's a 404. Oh yeah, no problem. I don't know if we want to do... I tend to prefer passengers over cargo, but... yeah. We'll just rent one while we're over here in Papua New Guinea. And then the other one I wanted to see was the Zodiac. No, not Zodiac. Kodiak. Is there a Kodiak? K-O-D-I-A-K, yeah. Show up. I don't know what that means, but I thought there was one in game. Maybe Maybe people are using it from 2020. I'll see if I can find one. Autopilot. Okay. Is that the little rectangle one that's like this much? All right, time for some sim rate. Just accelerating up to cruise. Yeah. Okay, now we have a little bit of a problem in that it says I'm not going to have enough fuel unless I climb up. So, I don't know, we might need to go ahead and climb all the way up. And a climb rate that would terrify small children and adults. Like 8,000 feet per minute. We're a rocket. Well, now I'm looking forward to trying a new plane. That'll be fun. But I think a Cessna Grand Caravan is, people would probably smack me for saying this, but close to a Kodiak, I guess. So, might try that one. I avoided the Grand Caravan in career mode because everybody was saying it had so many problems, so especially with the high crosswinds that they were having problems with when I started playing. I haven't really flown it much, but we'll give it a shot. And I'll give this one a shot too. Not sure what else would be good to fly around in. Is there a Kodiak? I didn't see one in Neofly, but that doesn't mean there's not one here. Not just me, right? It could be just that there's none within 5,000 miles of us, but I don't think that's the case. We're gonna do some food service or something here. Okay, and then let me see if I go to there's an add-on page, Kodiak. Yeah. So there is a Kodiak available as a Microsoft Flight Simulator add-on, it says. So apparently I don't have it. So I may have to go find one. Yeah, our Fuel remaining is going up here as we climb. We're getting dangerously close to our barber pole there. Still not looking good on our fuel remaining here. We're gonna be on fumes. So if we slow down a little bit, does that help us? To descent. I think there's something wrong though here. Look at this. How is it from my initial approach fix to this one? I'm losing 2,000 some odd 100 pounds of fuel. Like, these are a few miles apart. It's kind of a bug. Something weird's going on there. Oh, losing fuel here. Something's going on. Auto throttle's going crazy. Yeah, I think this is a bug. I don't think that could possibly be right. So we're 30 minutes from descent now. And we are self-vectoring here, flying straight in more or less. So let's go ahead and dial this down to 2,000. VNav. Set our cruise, yeah. To 79. Go FMS. All right, took my clock away when I crashed. Speed this up a little. $3,700 pounds of fuel. ATC changing your approach on you burns a lot of fuel, that's for sure. It's getting pretty low there at the end of that last one. Minutes. As fast as we can go. This is a really neat effect. Black and blue. forward to getting into Papua New Guinea and flying through the mountains. Oh, and I don't know if you saw, but I made a senior captain. So I got my senior captain. So now I can borrow 16 million here between these three. Plus I've got 4 in the bank, and I've got a couple of million in here, and less in that one. But I could trade those in if I needed the cash. I just don't know what plane I want to get next. Because really, from the Longitude, the next plane seems to be some kind of airliner. And those don't have a lot longer range than the Longitude does. Alright, we did drinks, meals, let's do entertainment. So far we've got 100% passenger satisfaction. Alright, let's do 165 here. And probably 135 here. I did. I went ahead and threw them 20 bucks. So I got the whatever pilot one and the airline one. I haven't used the airline one yet. I don't really know what to do with it. I need to watch some videos or something. Oh, something's gonna happen here. Let's get sim rate off. 7, 8, 9, okay. No idea what this airport's going to be. We still got all our lights on. We didn't turn them off. Too short of a flight. I looked into it just a little bit. I just don't understand the home base. I mean, I get that when you build a home base, you put in your own custom, like, airport, basically, right? But does that tie into the airline thing? Or I guess not. I mean, I guess you could build it anywhere. I don't know where I'd want to build a home base, though. Also, I don't know if you know, but can you tear it down and move it? Or do you lose all your money that you put into it? Really nice rivers here. Where's that home base thing? Campaigns. Yeah, I don't know. I saw it somewhere. I didn't. I do not know. I looked at it briefly and I saw that you can like buy different components and stuff, but I didn't give it a try yet. I don't know where I want my home base. I fly all over the place now. Still on the path. Going down to 3,000 next. It's an RNAV approach. It'd be nice if you could build additional home bases, but I do think you only get one. I can't find it right now. Where's the... Where do you build the home base? I saw it. I know airlines you can put in multiple hubs, but you pay per, like based on where it is. It's like a certain amount per week or whatever. Hub. 5,000 a week for that one. I guess I'm paying 200 a week for the basic airline. Oh, you can do online, I guess. Oh, maybe that's what you're kind of meant to do, is like multiplayer. Maybe that's what airline is. So yeah, I got some pilots, and I've got them flying. I've got a PC-24 for this one. When I bought it, I got a free Cessna 172, so I gave that to this guy. And then I've got a Vision Jet. And then I own this helicopter, and I rent everything else. But which menu is the home base thing under? There it is. Okay. It's going crazy. Standard, large, cabin. You can use near the water. Runway is hidden. I don't know. I will have to give it a try. Maybe I'll give it a try on my next stream, so you can see me fail, waste all my money. Scent is looking good. We can time accelerate this too. So our FMS just switched to 240 knots for me. Comes flaps 1. Not gonna do it yet, but we're looking good on fuel, I think. Should make it. Still has such a huge gap between here and here. I just don't understand that. I don't think that can possibly be right. Alright, let's slow down time here back to normal. Hard enough to do all this stuff in real time. Yeah, if you want to do some multiplayer stuff, we could do that. My biggest problem is I don't know when I'm going to be able to get on. It depends on what's going on with work and stuff. Like tonight I was very late. Evening calls. Alright, we got a right turn coming up here and then we should be on final. Our glide path or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to descend a little bit more aggressively than they are. I'm going to go ahead and go flaps 1. I'm just going to go an arm approach, I think, and see what happens. Yeah, I didn't like it yet, so. I'll try and watch some videos or something and see how some of this stuff works. And I think we're back on the VNav now. Yeah. Maybe after we turn this corner, it'll lock. Left here. I'd heard people say that. I mostly turn that off. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool for doing some things. All right, let's see if we can. Second notch of flaps, gear down. Not sure what the deal is with this approach, but I'm not flying a long, painful go around. I can tell when There we go. There's a glide path. It looks like it takes a left turn up here, doesn't it? I hope that's the go around path and not the runway path. It's supposed to be runway 16. We're roughly heading along a 16 here. Hopefully we're there. Yeah, there's just the one runway here. That's weird. I think that's why it's doing that. Look. And full flaps. We are above the glide slope, so it's diving a little bit. Throw our speeds off. Slow down just a little bit more. Yeah, the autopilot looks like it's going for the right runway, so I don't think it has.
400.
Doesn't have that crazy thing in it.
300. Auto throttle.
That wasn't what I meant to have happen. That's what I meant to have happen.
200. 150. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
That wasn't the softest landing I've seen. Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
Alright, do we have any kind of, anything here? There's some buildings back there. I guess we need the UE on the runway. Yeah, I wasn't following the blue paths. A lot of times I just turn them off, but they keep coming back on. They're very helpful at first when you're, especially those ferry, not the ferry flight ones, the ones where you fly around the different landmarks and you have to fly a circle around them. Very handy for that. I can't remember what those are called, first flights or something. There's our taxiway. We're just gonna park it over here. Again, I forgot to start my APU when I was supposed to.
Okay, pilot. The guests are leaving the aircraft now.
Yeah, so right now you can see it's draining the batteries. Once the APU comes on, then the battery should start charging. There they go. Oh. There.
Transporter from dispatch. Another passenger mission completed. Thanks, and bye.
Career mode is so buggy.
You are clear to start your engine.
Oh, so let's see. You were saying a 404. And then we want to go by distance. There's one here that we can rent. And then we just take our guy out of... Oh. Yes, I have. Good scroll. Empty. And then I'll take everybody out of this one for now. Oh wait, actually maybe we should put... Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I would need 2 pilots. Okay. I'll do that later. I can put a NPC pilot in here and let them fly missions. So if we switch over to this one, then we can go show me missions. And let's go by distance, because I want to stay in the vicinity. My goal is to get over here somewhere. Oh, are these missions? Maybe those are missions. And then those are like the kinds of missions, maybe? I did not know you could do that. Okay, cool. So there's that one for 22,000 and that one for 18. This one requires a lot more payload. I don't know what the fuel consumption on this guy is. Chain missions. I think you can preload multiple missions for them to fly, and as long as they have fuel to fly it, they'll continue on. I haven't tried it. I don't know, like it could be that you pick, like, you know, let's say like this mission and that mission, right? And then maybe they would fly to here and complete this mission and then continue on to that location, but I don't know. I don't know if they originate from the same location or if you can pick up missions in the other location. Like I haven't found a way to find jobs in another location. I mean, you can click on a plane that's there, but like if I'm gonna fly to, you know, whatever here, WAUU, which is where we just came from, I think. But if I was gonna fly to here, I don't know of any way to get the next mission out of WAUU to go somewhere else. That would be kind of nice if you could chain that way, but. So my concern on this one is that's not going to leave us much additional fuel capacity, but like we could just fly this one. Yeah, I think I'll just do that one. I'm not going to do it right now though. Maybe tomorrow. We'll work on learning to fly this plane and having some fun in it. And then I have to figure out how to get like up into the mountains and stuff. I don't even know which airports I'm looking for, so I need to look those up and have a list. I'll work on that. Okay, well, it is pushing 2 a.m. now, so I'm gonna head on out.
GPWS system failure.
And I will catch you on another day. Thanks for popping by.